Cheating is a persistent problem in a lot of online games. Just ask PlayerUnknown. One of the games recently clamping down on cheaters is the fantasy MMO Guild Wars 2. But just how those cheaters were actually caught might be a tad worrying.
Guild Wars 2 is a pretty big, well-regarded MMO released back in 2012. It did really well with the reviewers at launch and has continued to hang on to players and an active community all these years later. Back in 2017, it was announced the game had 11 million players. Developer ArenaNet has been supporting it quite doggedly since release, with new content updates arriving every 2 weeks after launch and later on in bigger, more spaced out chunks. Well, a few days ago, ArenaNet announced in a forum post that almost 1,600 accounts had been suspended over the last 6 months alone. The reason? These players have been found to have, quote, programs that allow players to cheat and gain an unfair gameplay advantage.
Motherboard reports that one of the players banned was Fabian Wosar, a security researcher. In a Reddit post he made, Wosar said that he'd been reverse engineering Guild Wars 2 updates over the past few weeks. He found that an update on March the 6th included a program that scanned the player's PC looking for other apps and processes running on the computer that could be used to cheat in Guild Wars 2. Quote, I really decided it was okay to just snoop around in the processes I was running and decided it found something it didn't like. The problem is that just because you have a process running that could potentially be used to cheat in your game doesn't mean it is used to cheat in your game. Based on the data Arena gathered on my system, Arena doesn't know whether I cheated in their game either. All they know is that I had a process running that could be used for cheating. Wosar told Motherboard that he didn't cheat in Guild Wars 2 and only had the suspect software on his computer because of his job as a security researcher.
Wosar said the kind of technique used by ArenaNet may not actually be uncommon, but the real rub, according to him, is that the company is sending all the info spied from players' computers to their own servers in an insecure way. He said the method they're using is not very sophisticated either, that it couldn't even tell if the player was using the software to cheat on Guild Wars 2, and it was unfit for purpose. Motherboard spoke to Josh Watson, a senior security engineer for Trail of Bits, who said that the anti-cheat system could be considered spyware, but that it would be trivial to bypass the detection technique. However, he added, they probably found shit pretty easy because I doubt a lot of people expected Guild Wars to be doing this. Security researcher Adrian Bednarek has done research on video games in the past. He says he's seen a couple of games using similar methods to catch cheaters. Quote, I would consider any processes covertly sending back data about processes and modules running on my system as spyware. Motherboard didn't get a response from ArenaNet when asked. So ArenaNet, the developers of Guild Wars 2, have been taking a look on their users' systems, apparently. This is what the accusation is, to see what software, processes, things they've got running on in the background, to see if it's something that could be used to cheat in Guild Wars 2. And the problem is, according to these security experts and the guy who was banned, there's no relationship. They have no way of finding out if that software was used to cheat. And like in this guy's case, in Wosar's case, he is a security researcher himself. That's why he's got this stuff on his system. He needs it for work, and he was still banned from Guild Wars 2 because he had it on his system, and they only found out because of the spyware, which is technically what it is, that they were using.
It obviously raises the question, how far do you think companies are allowed to go? They should disclose this in the terms and conditions or whatever, and have you check a box, even if you don't even read it. It should be there in terms of conditions. They're sending your information over in an insecure way. That was Wosar's main problem, was that they were sending the information back to their own servers in an insecure way. So God knows what happens to that. Just don't trust online games, and it's part and parcel of it. Online games is like it opens the port and sends information on your computer like all the time, right?
I guess, yes.
So it's just like just squeezing that information in there. You don't even consider it as a threat or anything. It's technically spyware. They're technically sending information from your computer without telling you to their own servers in an insecure way. That isn't right. That needs fixing. And Arena, sort your shit out. I mean, is this the way to treat the loyal fans who've been with you for God knows how long? False positives, as they call it, innit? When you get accused of cheating when you're not actually cheating. Now this guy, obviously, he's got spyware. He's a spy kind of guy. Obviously, he does it for a living.
I'm sure he's cool with that.
Legitimate reasons to have spyware and stuff.
He's a spy kind of guy.
He's a spy kind of guy, and he gets flagged for cheating. This is just bad news all over for Arena.
One thing that got my attention as well was the fact that this might not actually be uncommon, that it's not that unusual to expect a company like this to be doing it, but just the methods that ArenaNet are using aren't very sophisticated. It's very simple. I think one of the analysts, in a quote that I didn't include actually, said it was like kids level stuff that they were using to have a look for cheaters. The combination of it not being very sophisticated and then just sending it back and then banning players simply for having the software on the computers in the first place, just all around isn't a good situation. Just be aware if you're a Guild Wars player and if you're a player of online games in general, that it's not uncommon for companies to do this, to have a root around on your computer to see what software you're running, just in case you might be cheating.
So are you guys surprised that ArenaNet have done this? Would it put you off buying a game from ArenaNet in future, or playing Guild Wars 2 for that matter? Let us know down in the comments below. Like the video if you've enjoyed it, subscribe if you're new around here, check out another one of the videos on your screen there. Support us on Patreon, and we'll see you again in the next video. Until then, bye for now.